What is up, everybody? Bleeding Blue Podcast, episode 66. I want to say 67. We are somewhere around there.
Sounds about right.
Doesn't really matter. But we're here and we are here to discuss this week in sports. We got a lot to get into. The Yankees, or as I like to call them, the Stinkies, have been stinking it up lately, down 3-0. And I wonder if Aaron Boone's going to show them the video of when they we're up 3-0 to the Red Sox, and the Red Sox came back. Maybe that'll be a little bit
Yeah,
for them and
that'd be funny.
help them stay positive. No, do you know about that though? That he actually did that. Aaron Boone back in 2022 when they were down 3-0 to the Astros showed them the video of
No,
that.
they didn't.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, he did.
Oh my God.
He did. And it was like everyone's like, why the fuck is he doing that? Like, why would
Jesus.
this is show how terrible our fucking franchise is. Even though they're not, they have literally everything good going for them. They made it to the fucking World Series. Too bad, like Aaron Judge decided not to show up, but we'll talk about that later. We got some bigger things to discuss because our Bills are fucking good. Like it's really no, there's like no there's issues. There's always issues with any team. There's something, but there's really like nothing scary to talk about because we don't have any teams in the division that we have to worry about. Everybody else fucking sucks in our.
Yeah.
You got the Jets who are fucking a bunch and should be good but are terrible. They've got fucking CTE party with the Dolphins, and and then you've got the Patriots who are nothing without uh, the players that left fucking 15 years ago, and the coach is gone. Like he left last year. So
Yep.
like the Bills really have nothing to worry about. Again, and they're playing great too as of late. Like their defense has been good. Their offense has been good. Josh Allen's been playing solid pretty much most of the games. You know, every now and then he has a bit of a hiccup game, but it's kind of okay because you have a big safety net in this division where you have a little bit of room for failure if you do. But as of lately, they haven't, you know. And Seattle's a good team, but before I let you speak, Seattle isn't a terrible team. Like they're okay. But we are better than them, and we did what we were supposed to do against them. We beat them, and we beat them pretty well. That's what I have to say.
Yeah. You basically said everything right.
No,
The
thank you.
Bill, this was it was a sloppy game. I gotta admit, it was a
I
sloppy
mean,
game.
in physical and mentally though, because it was a wet fucking field too. There's raining all over.
Yeah, it was pouring. It
Yeah,
was pouring that game, which was surprising to see. I'm just looking at the stats right here. I didn't even remember this, but the Seahawks only had 32 yards on the ground, which is pretty crazy, especially in a game like that where it's raining. Usually they're not throwing the ball as much, but yeah, 32 yards on the ground is awesome for that Bills defense because the Bills defense is problem is the rush defense. Passing defense, we haven't had to worry about this year. Our corners and safeties have been playing great, so I
yeah.
don't think that's been a problem. But especially letting Kenneth Walker only to 12 yards rushing is awesome. So I think that was probably the best part of the game. James Cook played fantastic. He had over 130 yards rushing and receiving, which was awesome. Josh Allen played a solid game, first interception of the year, but it was kind of like a misran route by Cooper, and he kind of slipped a bit. So we'll allow him on that one, but at least it wasn't that bad. But it was bound to happen. There's no way Allen was going to go this year without throwing an interception. So
You're right. And
yeah, so
was that his first of the year?
yeah, it was.
Holy shit. Okay,
And
that's
it wasn't even that bad of an interception. It was kind of just a misread from Cooper, and then that'll change because it's the second game they're playing together, so they're not fully on the same terms yet. But Cooper didn't really have that much to do in this game. Only one catch for 3 yards. It was mainly the Shakir and Coleman show.
I was gonna
Uh,
say those two guys they were passing going to Allen was going to those guys a ton that game
yeah,
against the Seahawks, and they were good, like big catches, and it was interesting to see Tom Brady's perspective on the whole game too, because he's there.
yeah. I'm starting to like Tom Brady now as a broadcaster. Ever since he's left New England, I'm starting to like Brady even more. I hated the guy for the beginning of watching football because he just terrorized my team, and now he's been more likable since he's been in the broadcast booth and since he was on Tampa Bay. So
I mean, he knows what he's talking about. You can't deny that.
he sure does. He sure does.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, the game was great. Everyone played well. I don't think there was any flaws, really, apart from the fourth quarter being a little slouchy. But that was bound to happen. We kind of let off the gas because we didn't really need to, um, you know, keep pushing them,
Yeah.
and we basically had won the game already. So
I
that
know.
was basically it.
I mean, the thing is though, like also Seattle played a fucking horrible game. Like they played terribly.
Yeah,
They're just sloppy plays, like shotgunning the ball. Like it was just a bunch of
it
terrible.
was. Yeah. And
There's
yeah, Geno
also
Smith didn't have his best game either. Like he had a lot of mistakes. Like that fourth down when he was on the they were on the 1 yard line or the 2 yard line, whatever, and he slips off. He trips off his the center's foot, and that causes them not to score any points there.
you're right, and there was like so many chances for them to get the touchdown. Like they're at like, I think third and goal, and it's just like the Bills were able to counter that somehow,
Mm-hmm.
able to not let them get the touchdown, the 6 points. And then when you're able to counter the mistakes and use that as fuel or able to turn that into something positive for your offense, that's what good teams do. And again, this team has been like a lot of the same. They've had the same coach, they've had the same quarterback. They know they have this repetition of how to win games. They know how to win games. It's not like
Mm-hmm.
it's again the Seahawks are they're a new team kind of. They have a new coach. They have new players in place. So you can see that they're trying to figure out what works for them. Whereas the Bills, they know what works for this team and they know how to surround Allen with the assets that he needs to be a successful quarterback and be a successful team, I think.
Look
So
at you now, Mister Football Analyzer. Holy shit. Anyways, yeah, just a great game.
yeah,
Shakir, like I had a little parlay going on Sunday, and the Shakir line, he had like the line for catches was like 3.5. I'm like, he's getting way more than that. He ended up with 9. Like
yeah,
the guy just catches the football, and it's automatic every time with him and Allen. Coleman is getting so much better every game, man. He's
yeah.
looking so good. The first couple games, people are like, "Oh, we drafted it. We waited to draft this guy." Well, now he's starting to figure out how this offense works. And you saw that touchdown catch; that was phenomenal. He's playing so good right now. Yeah, he's gonna be. When it comes to playoffs, I think we can pretty much say that the Bills are winning the division. If they win next week against Miami, which they probably will, it's the division's basically done. He'll be very. I think he'll be very a big asset in the playoffs when people are looking at Amari Cooper and Shakir and in Kincaid in terms of looking at them like guarding them, and Coleman's wide open playing against the worst DB on the team. So I think this offense is pretty much set. I don't think we need to worry about not getting injured. Hopefully guys get healthy and come back like Milano. I hope he comes back in just before the playoffs start in November and December. Get him ready for the playoffs. I hope he comes back. Um, yeah, but I can't really complain about this team right now. They're playing really good. Um, it's just when big teams that we have to play, like the Chiefs and the Lions in a few months coming up. Those are the games where we have to see really what this team is and how they're going to be, how they have to prepare for the playoffs when it really matters. So,
yeah.
but yeah, no complaints here. Great game.
They've got a yeah. They've got they're at the halfway point by after next week's game on
Mm-hmm.
Sunday against the Dolphins, and hopefully that's another good game. If we take a look back at the game against the Dolphins in September, hopefully that's an example of what is to come for next week. Because if they play like that, the way they did, and if the Dolphins play the way they did, then good things are
They
going to.
probably will because they never change their offensive schemes. It's always the same
Right.
shit
No.
every game. I whenever I watch them play, like when I watched them last week against the Cardinals, it was most predictable offense I've ever seen. It's been like this since Tua has been on the team. Actually, no, not Tua. I'd say since Tyreek has been there. Tyreek and Waddle and Mostert have been in the offense. It's just the same stuff. All the defense has to do is protect the deep ball, and then they can just the Tua only throws it to the check downs or like a little out routes to the end to the edge of the field. Like it's the same every single game. I haven't seen anything different from this team. I'll be very surprised if they change anything because Mike McDaniels is not a very good coach. Let's be real.
Is he?
He's a cool guy. He responds well to the press, and he has some funny moments and stuff. But come on, let's be real. He's not the best coach.
Did you know that Tyreek Hill only has one touchdown this year?
Yeah, I think since week one. I think week one was the only one he had because
Touchdown, yeah, one receiving touchdown, no rushing touchdowns, obviously, but still, wow.
that offense it should be better. But they had Tyler Huntley for a decent amount of time, so all I'm going to say is if you want to make a bet next week, take the under on Tyreek Hill receiving yards because he's getting locked up like he always does against the Bills. I think the last time he had over 100 yards receiving against the Bills was when he was on Kansas City. So, yeah. And he's been playing with Miami, who are in the Bills division. So he's been playing 2 games against them every year since he's been there, and I think he hasn't even gone over 70 against the Bills since he's been with Kansas City. So that just tells you something about that offense.
I think a good part about another thing about the Bills is they've been good for injuries for the most part. There hasn't been too many injuries for them. I think you can agree with
yeah.
They've been pretty good in terms of like big players. Like you look at their main guys. James Cook has played 7 games started. Ray Davis 8 games. You have Shakir 7 games. Dalton played 8 games played. Keon Coleman 8 games. Mac Hollins 8 games. Dawson Knox 8 games. So that those are the core guys that are mainly the offense for this team, and they've all been very, very important, I guess you could say. And to stay healthy. So
yeah, but I feel like it's always been the defense that has injuries. I've never felt like the offense has been hindered in any way. Only when it's like Allen, like Allen usually has a minor injury every year, and it's not that big of an issue.
Yeah. But that's
and he just plays through it because he's a dog. But it's like it's usually the defense. Usually defense, that's the main issue in terms of injuries. But
the defense
when it doesn't matter because the defense, the backups that come in, they're fucking great, man. Like they're great. They play just as well as the starters. So there's nothing to complain about. Von Miller comes back next week. I don't know how much of an impact he's going to be for the team, but we'll see. Maybe just put him in for third down plays, and he did play well at the beginning of the year. He had a couple sacks, but other than that, it's just been meh. Fucking, we won't talk about his situation because it's a tough one. But we'll move on. Let's move on to a team that's in a completely different route right now, and that's our Leafs. Probably the worst week that the Leafs I've ever seen. Like just in turn, like the first game that we'll cover is the Blue Jackets game. That was horrific. Probably the worst performance I've ever seen out of a team. Especially after a 5-1 win against Tampa the day before. And then you lose, like, was it 6-1, 7-1, something like that?
6-2 they lost, yeah.
Yeah, it was atrocious. It was not, like, I turned it off. I think it was, like, after the first period. Yeah, they were down 3-0 in the first period. Like, I turned it off. Like, I couldn't watch it. It was so hard to watch. And then you go. I don't even want to speak about that game anymore. And then you go to Thursday against St. Louis. Joseph Wall's first start of the season. He did not play well either. Um, I think we've kind of seen that Stolars should be the starter so far until Wall is fully healed. But yeah, 5-1 to St. Louis. That's not a good result. Not good at all. Just it wasn't a fun game to watch either. The Leafs weren't really in it at all the whole time. It was very lackluster performance.
So
And
what do you think needs to change then? Like, what do you
the
think?
offense, the
Yeah,
offense, the power play is horrible. Like I think they changed it after the Bruins game, which we'll talk about after.
I saw.
After the
Yeah,
Bruins game, they changed it. I think I showed it to you on Monday. They switched up the lines a bit.
Tavares,
I think they put
Tavares and
Tavares and
Nylander went to the
Nylander on the second line,
yeah.
and I think that was working pretty well in Winnipeg yesterday. Pacioretty had 3 assists, so that was a good result. But yeah, like just the power play before. I think I saw when they were playing Boston on Saturday, there was a stat. I think they were 11% on the power play, 11% with the amount of money put into that team's offense. I call it. I love to call it the $40 million line with Matthews, Nylander, Marner, and Tavares. I call it the $40 million line. Anyways, like it's pathetic. Like the power play needs to be fixed. And I think it was fixed on Monday, but hopefully they continue with that. But the Blues game was horrible. Boston game, I thought it was this happens every year with the Leafs. They always play Boston close. This is usually how all division games go with the Leafs. But yeah, the overtime is really the main talking point with Matthews deciding to blind pass it up the boards to right to Pasternak, and then Marchand eventually scores. But yeah, it was not a fun watch. I did not enjoy watching that game. Really, I wasn't really intrigued at all.
Yeah, I'll speak here because again, like they were. I've been working a lot, so I haven't gotten to watch as many of the Leafs games, but I was paying attention to the Bruins and Leafs games, and it's just it's the same thing as last year. Like I just can't notice any difference. It's like
Mm,
even when we do win, it's like we let up like 5 goals. Like we almost lose the game like yesterday. And the games are always so high scoring, and we just have to rely on offense to get the wins. And it also kind of feels messy because it's like, oh yeah, we scored a bunch, but we let in way too many goals. Like even the a win's a win, but still. And the same thing happened like with the Bruins and OT game. Yeah, we were able to tie it up, but of course, fucking who it was Marchand that got the game-winning goal, and it's like a bunch of bullshit, man.
yeah.
Oh, it's so frustrating.
Yep, and that happened. It's always that. Like it's
I
always
remember I got deja vu. This happened last year, like sometime throughout the year. Where
basically
we went to OT with the Bruins, and Marchand got the game winner.
no. This not just last year. This happens every year, man.
Yeah,
This happens every year.
yeah, and
So
yeah, it's the same as it was years prior. I guess the only thing I can think of is you have to switch up like yeah. I don't know. I don't know. It's so early still, I think, to this is the team that we are seeing. Like we still have a lot of time. Some players get off to slower starts than others, and hopefully they can bounce back and Matthews can start being himself. He's been a little bit better as of late, but yeah. I mean, who has been good though is John Tavares. He's actually been
mm,
actually
Lil Hattie.
yeah, a little Hattie.
Yep,
Who else got a
great.
hat trick yesterday though? I on the Winnipeg Jets.
Kyle Connor.
Yeah,
Kyle Connor.
yeah, he got the
That
hat.
guy's such a good player. Oh my god, I would trade for him right now. I'd rather have.
I'd trade for half
No.
that Winnipeg roster. Holy shit, they're so fucking good.
Well, they weren't last night.
Couldn't
So
beat the Leafs. Almost did. Almost did. but
Yeah.
still, they're still very good. They're still very good.
Yeah.
It's very interesting how the Winnipeg Jets do, even though like they have no fans whatsoever, but in like no money, but still manage to. That's an incredible team. It's just good goaltending, good defense, and just solid all around players, and that's what I
Yeah.
think the Leafs should look at for as a team to aspire to be is a team like Winnipeg because they just have such a complete roster. They just do. Like, yeah, but they also have players that
They'll probably get beat by Colorado in the playoffs, anyways.
you're right, they probably will. But they compared to like the Leafs have also just so much pressure on their team too. They have so much pressure on those four guys to be good and no pressure whatsoever on the Winnipeg team. And maybe that's a part of it. That's a stat that is important, I guess, to that team. But yeah, it's Leafs are the Leafs. Leafs will leave. That's what they'll do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Happens every year. But let's look towards these games coming up. We got the Kraken. What's their record right now? How good's Seattle? They're usually solid. Like they're not a bad team. Let me see here standings. They're 4-4, like the Leafs. They're playing okay. They're playing okay hockey. We're at home for that game. Then we have the Blues again on Saturday, and then the Wild on Sunday, and then the actually no, we'll cover the Bruins game next week. But yeah, so 3 games coming up this week. I say we go 2-1. We'll probably lose to St. Louis. Minnesota is actually playing pretty good though. Now they're whoa, Minnesota's 5-1. What the fuck? Jesus. Okay, well maybe we'll probably lose that game. So yeah, maybe 1-2. I think we'll beat Seattle and then we'll lose back to back. St. Louis and Minnesota. I did not know Minnesota was 5-1. I mean, they have a good team, so I'm not surprised.
Yeah, no, they do have a good team. Some other players that have been.
What are your thoughts? What are your thoughts on these 3 games coming up?
I think they should beat the Kraken my ass in. I think they should beat the Wild. But they, I it. I think they'll beat the Kraken. I think they won't beat the Wild.
Won't beat the Wild. So you're on 2-1.
Yeah.
Okay.
And what was the other team they face? Is it just
the Blues?
The Blues. They'll win against them. They'll go 2-1. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
That's what I think. All right. Well, let's move on then to some baseball. Before we move on to our top 5, which is very exciting, and I think all of you guys will enjoy. Let's talk about some baseball. The Dodgers are going to win the World Series tonight. I should put some money on it. Is what I should do because I think that's what is going to happen. I'm gonna put Freddie Freeman home run. Is what I'm gonna do. Here's an ad for you guys right now. Baseball money line, Dodgers money line, Freddie Freeman home run, Shohei Ohtani walk. There you go. And
interesting.
Gleyber Torres single maybe. Yeah.
All right. Gleyber Torres single.
Yeah.
I'm putting it in right now.
A little extra money onto that for you because I think
I'm putting it in right now. And FanDuel does have a 30% profit boost. So
there you go. Look at that.
Might have to hit that up. But yeah. The Yankees suck. In particular, Aaron Judge. He's apparently the MVP. No, he's fucking not. That guy sucks. Especially in the playoffs. The guy's fucking horrible. It's like Austin Matthews, dude. Austin Matthews of the MLB is Aaron Judge. And I don't think that's I think I'm pretty accurate on that one.
I think you're right. I think that Judge has been absolutely terrible in the playoffs, and he was terrible in 2022 as well when he also won MVP. I don't know the reason why he's so terrible. I really wish I could tell why he just becomes bad. Maybe it's him trying too hard. Maybe he has too much pressure on himself. That's probably what the reason would be. I can't imagine why all of a sudden he's becoming terrible. Like he's the best player in the league. He's going to win MVP, but it's pretty fraudulent to see how terrible he is, bro. Like he's been bad. And we thought he was coming around in the end of that series against the Guardians, but no, he's still not that good. So
Yep, that's basically the. I think it's basically done. I don't know. I kind of see the Yankees winning, but I don't at the same time. Like the team is so bad, and also I also want to criticize.
Okay, they're not bad, but they're
I also want to criticize
Dodgers
the
are just
third
a lot
base
better.
coach.
What's
I
that?
just want to I want to criticize the third base coach for waving Stanton home. One of the stupidest. He's done that twice. I think twice this postseason, and it hasn't worked out. And he's like, you know what? Fuck it. Let's do it again. That no. You think the third base coach would know by now to not fucking do that with Stanton the sloth
Yeah,
fucking running home. Like why?
they make a
You like
lot of
stupid.
mistakes. They make a excessive amount of just baseball blunders and errors. Like Gleyber Torres is an example of a player that just makes a lot of errors, and they have a lot of base running mistakes. There's this one play, and I understand they're under the light and they're under the lamp when they're the Yankees, and so everything is analyzed and criticized because again they're the Yankees and you see them all over the media, but they really do make a lot of mistakes. They're a good team. They have a lot of power. They have great pitching, and they have a relatively deep lineup. Like they have some great players. They have Judge and Soto, who are just and Stanton, who's been really good in the playoffs. But their team is just they just struggle, especially weirdly with runners in scoring position, and they struggle on the base paths, like terrible base running team, and it's weird. I don't get why they're like that, but they made it to the World Series, and that's maybe the difference between them and the Dodgers, because the Dodgers just have shown that they're a much more well-rounded team. Even though they don't have the pitching necessarily, they know how to get clutch hitting, which is really important in the playoffs, and they have a really solid bullpen, even though they only have like Walker Bueller and Yoshinobu Yamamoto and Jack Flaherty, who have been really good for them, but they're missing like key players like Clayton Kershaw, Bobby Miller, Gavin Stone, Tony Gonsolin. Trying to think of who else.
Yeah.
Ohtani they could have right now, but he's injured, and just imagine that.
They played yesterday.
I'm saying as a pitcher.
Oh, I see. Okay. So I heard people were saying that he might come back for the playoffs.
No.
Like as
That's
a pitcher. That
not.
would have been so sick, though.
It would have been.
Dude, imagine he comes in if it goes to 7, which it probably won't. But imagine Dodgers are winning by 1, and it's the bottom of the 9th. He comes in to fucking close out the World Series.
I think that'd be awesome.
That would be the most GOAT shit I'll ever see.
Lots of time to do that in the rest of his career, because I think the Dodgers are going to be. I think they'll be good for a long time. I don't think you have to worry about them struggling anytime soon.
No.
Because what's going to happen is just their pitchers are going to get healthy, and Yamamoto's going to have a full year. Otani's going to have a full year as a pitcher. They got Glasnow, who hopefully is going to be good. Walker Bueller, like they have so much depth to their lineup and their pitching staff that'll just make them and continue to make them be a good team. They have, and again, they have the three of the best players in all of baseball. And then behind that, you got like Will Smith, Max Muncy, Teoscar Hernandez to back you up, and that's what makes them a really, really good lineup, 1 through 9.
Yeah,
like they're a very, very good team, and I think that would make the playoffs a little bit better for me. if Otani was pitching right now, I think I would enjoy it a lot more because Otani's also I think he's more fun of a pitcher to watch than a hitter. To be honest,
Yeah.
101 with a disgusting slider, a disgusting curveball, and disgusting slurve. He's filthy, and he's also he just has nasty stuff, and he's like a really
Yeah.
good pitcher to watch. So, but again, he was definitely entertaining to watch. So yeah, that's what I have to say about that. I think the Dodgers are going to win. I'm going to put the money line on them tonight. Yeah.
Yeah. Come back to this tomorrow, and let's see if you know, see if we're right.
Yeah.
Hopefully we are.
Hopefully we are. Anyway, let's move on to our top five, which is very, very exciting. One that I hopefully will win, but who knows?
You better win.
Suck at. I've been terrible lately, but today we are going to be doing top five clutch playoff baseball moments.
Yeah.
This can be from any range. I think we're all gonna relatively stay within this century for the most part. Some maybe from 1990s, 1980s, maybe not. I don't.
We're not old heads.
Mine are relatively recent, but a lot of the big moments have happened in recent history too. So that's what is very exciting and fun to discuss. But I'll go first. All right, I'll go.
Yep. Set the tone here.
All right. So for my honorable mention, I got a very, very recent one, which was huge for this team. A team that had a pretty good run in the playoffs and a little bit of a big run before that. That's my Mets. And Pete Alonso with this 3-run home run against Gavin Williams in the bottom of the ninth. Or Devin Williams, sorry.
Okay, can you say that again?
Pete
Alonso. Oh, okay.
Three-run home run, bottom of the ninth against Devin Williams to send them basically to the NLDS against the Phillies. I think that was a huge moment for Alonso. Alonso at that time had been struggling immensely, and he came up with a huge, huge hit, a hit that he had been needing. It was possibly his last at bat as a Met, and he came up huge, exactly what they needed to give them the lead, win the game. I remember you texting me and you said Polar Bear coming in clutch. And I was like, because I was at work at this time. I saw the game after. I was like, let's fucking go. Mets.
Yeah. Awesome moment.
And I'm sure it was a huge moment for the Mets too. Mets fans, I honestly, I envy you because I can't imagine how much fun it would have been. The Mets team this year was so much fun. You got Jose Iglesias with "Oh my God" singing all that, and fucking you got Grimace you got to deal with. You got Frank the Tank. There's so much like Lindor, just being so sick, so awesome. It is a very, very fun team. So a good moment and a lot of fun. Honestly, you and I understand. Like we had a blast watching that. I mean, I did. I watching it in that one game, game 161 in our
class. Yeah, that was funny.
That was a crazy moment. Holy shit moment. Moment. All right, and number 4, we're going back number 5, sorry, we're going back in time to start off this list. We got Aaron Boone walk-off home run against the Red Sox in the ALCS of Game 7. Aaron Boone has been made some big mistakes as of late. He's not the biggest, not really cherished too much by Yankee fans, but however, back in the day, he hit a huge home run off Tim Wakefield, and I think the bottom of the 10th, bottom of the 11th, something like that. Huge moment. I think that's the reason it's so important is because it sends you ultimately to the World Series. You end up winning that World Series, but it's a huge moment. I just can't imagine what it'd be like. It's exactly what every kid dreams of. Bottom of Game 7, bottom inning, you have the chance to walk it off, and you hit a walk-off home run. I mean, there's nothing more special and incredible than that. The thing is, though, why it's number 5, it's the Yankees. And I fucking hate the Yankees. So, yeah. And number
Yeah.
4, I've got, again, it may not be as monumental to the team at the time, but I think in different ways it was, because it's not like Game 7, but I'm saying Big Poppy Game 2 ALCS Grand Slam. If you watch that video, it is so sick. Bottom of
Yeah.
the Grand Slam, the right fielder dives over the green part of right field at Fenway
Mm-hmm.
Park and completely falls over, and the crowd just goes berserk. Big
The
pop,
cop,
yeah,
going
cops like,
crazy too.
and
Yeah.
I think what's so cool about that is it was at a time when again at a time when the Red Sox were just such a fun team. You had Pedroia, you had Xander Bogaerts, you had Big Poppy coming in clutch, Tim Wakefield,
Mm-hmm.
and just a lot of Jason Varitek, like a lot of really really fun players on that roster, and that automatically solidified them because they ended up winning the World Series that year. I'm pretty
Mm-hmm.
sure I want to say against the Cardinals. I'm not 100% though, but yeah, that's a pretty awesome moment for those Boston Red Sox and Big Poppy, of course. Number 3, I got maybe I want to put this at number 1, but again, it is minimal because it is an ALDS moment and not a World Series or ALCS or NLCS or whatever it is moment. It's Jose Bautista's 3-run home run in the bottom of the 7th. Everything leading up to that moment, the errors by why am I forgetting his name? Elvis Andrus and Mitch Moreland. It's wild. It is a wild ride. I remember exactly where I was in that moment, and Sam Dyson comes in, a absolute flamethrower, and just leaves a cookie right to Batista, who smashes it right into left field.
I remember I didn't watch. I wasn't watching the game.
I know where you were, bro. You're at some fucking recital or graduation.
No, yeah, it was my sister's academic ceremony or something at high school, and I was sitting watching it, and the guy in front of me was on his phone, and he's like, "Bautista home run, no way!" And
Yeah.
I remember before I went to it, the academic thing, I watched Encarnacion's home run, so I was watching the game, and then I was like, okay, so let's hope this happens. And then I remember the guy in front of me. He's like, Bautista. He was talking to his buddy. He's like, Bautista home run, no way. I was like, oh shit. It was yeah. I wish I was able to watch it live,
I
like
know.
just watch it on TV.
I was lucky enough to see it live, and I just remember going absolutely berserk, taking off my shirt. I was with a bunch of like family friends and like party. I was just taking off my shirt, dancing around, being a little stupid idiot kid that was having the time of his life. So it's definitely an awesome memory for me. And then you also can't forget um fucking Ruben, not Ruben Odor. Uh who is the abuser? Why am I forgetting his name? The close days.
Oh, Ozuna.
Ozuna, yeah, Roberto Ozuna, coming in at the end of the game with like a 7-out save or something like that, 6 outs. Yeah, so that was maybe it was 5. No, I think it was 5. Yeah, I think it was 5.
Okay.
5-out save, which was huge for them and just absolutely huge. Uh, what a game! What a moment! What a team! What an absolute awesome team! That was a huge.
Yeah.
And number 2, I remember hearing about this when I was a kid, but I do not remember seeing it. When I did see it, I was like, holy shit, I just can't imagine how explosive and crazy that was. This is still a huge moment. It still is. However, it did not get them the win ultimately at the end of this season. But Rajay Davis's game tying home run
Mm-hmm.
in the bottom of the 8th is fucking huge. That is one of
Mm-hmm.
the craziest game-changing moments of all time. You have the greatest closer in baseball at that time, Aroldis Chapman, coming in.
Mm-hmm.
Throws you a hard pitch to hit, but he somehow gets to it and just barely hits it over the wall. I think there's so much craziness a part of that. Again, two teams that are just haven't won in forever and are begging, just want so badly Game 7 of the World Series to win, and obviously it didn't amount to anything. The the Cubs ended up winning it all, but oh my God, what a crazy game! That's one of the greatest games all of baseball history. It'll be forever. But yeah, just a monumental moment, a game switching moment. But yeah, and at number one, this is pretty crazy. One of the I just can't imagine if this were my team how I would have lost my fucking shit. David Freeze's 3-run or run triple, I want to say, 2-run triple in the bottom of the ninth. 2 outs.
One strike left.
1 strike left. 2 strikes to tie the game up in Game 6 on the verge of losing the World Series against the Rangers. Poor Rangers fans. Oh my gosh. I feel for you. Eventually, you got your championship, though. You got your championship, but still, that's rough. But that is one of the coolest moments. You said that I even think about Pujols rounding third and going, waving him around like that. Like, what a team, too. You got Pujols, Yadier Molina, you got David Freese, Adam Wainwright. I'm trying to think of who else was on that team at the time. Lance Berkman was on that team. He was great for them. Matt Holliday, just absolutely wild. Just crazy time for that team. Yeah, man, like good for them. That's one of the coolest. That's probably going to be one of the coolest moments of your entire career that you will remember for the rest of your life. One of the most clutch moments. I just think of David Freese on third base, like on his knees, just like, holy shit, I fucking did that. So yeah, that's my number one pick. There you go.
Okay. Yep. I'm very surprised you didn't have one certain one that I have on my list, but I'll get to that later. My honorable mention, I'm going very old school. Bill Mazeroski, walk-off home run, 1960 World Series, Game 7.
Oh.
Yep, very old school.
Yeah.
I don't know, it's just very iconic. Whenever I watch like those best sports moments videos, it's always in there. So I had to include that one in my honorable mention. It's also, Game 7 World Series walk-off home run. Why not put it on there? Number 5, I have something from the 2016 World Series. Ben Zobrist's double in extra innings in Game 7. Very clutch to bring in. Who was it? What's his name? Oh, buddy.
I think it was Chris Bryant. I want to say, or maybe
is he? No, it wasn't Chris Bryant. It was the Russell.
Addison Russell. Yeah,
Addison Russell. Yep, brought in him. I remember what's his name was on base. Rizzo. He was pointing at him. I remember watching that game. That game was fucking awesome. Just 108 years without a World Series, and they win it against the then Cleveland Indians. I thought it was a great series, great game. Ben Zobrist, probably one of the best performances in a World Series game that day. I'll put him at number 5. Number 4, this isn't really a moment. This is just more like a clutch performance. But I'm putting Madison Bumgarner in Game 7 against the Royals
in
2014. Comes in. He's already started 2 games in that series. He comes in Game 7 out of the bullpen. I think it was in the 4th or 5th inning. Five scoreless innings. I think he only allowed 1 hit. Probably the best performance of a pitcher in any World Series ever. Bumgarner, probably one of my favorite pitchers to watch, really. Doesn't really have that much heat, just knows how to place the ball in the strike zone. Gets batters out, and then obviously the final at bat against Perez with, I think it was like runners on the corners, and if he gets a hit, the game's over, basically. Yeah, it was just phenomenal pitching by Bumgarner that whole series. But Game 7, he was clutch as hell. Number 3, I have Bautista's bat flip. Even though I didn't get to watch it live, I still have to put it there because I think the bat flip just was so iconic. And So many people now in baseball do it after a big moment, and he kind of started that trend. So I got to put it up there, number 3. And obviously, as a Blue Jays fan, you gotta put it somewhere. Number 2, I have David Freese also with the triple and the home run in extra innings to extend the World Series in 2011. Another probably the most iconic moment in probably the most clutch moment in baseball history, I'd say, with only one strike left, and you get a triple. I think I even though it's not my number 1, I had to I had to put number 1 just due to Toronto wise. I'm surprised you didn't have this on here. Joe Carter walk-off home run, 1993 World Series. That's a Canadian heritage moment. Whenever you think of Toronto sports, that's probably number 1. Yeah. Joe Carter. It's either Joe Carter walk-off home run or probably Kawhi's backboard or fadeaway shot, in Game 7 of that series. Joe Carter's, that's the reason why he's known as a Blue Jay is off that home run. So I had to put that number 1 because he won the World Series against the Braves and went back to back, and they've done nothing since. So but nonetheless, it was that's my list. I think I win. I think I win again.
Come on.
I don't know, man. I don't know, but you got some good ones, but really, I feel like in terms of clutch moments, I think you have to put only World Series or ALCS type of
it's still
moments.
Important. It's still a playoff moment. That means they advance.
Yeah. I was very close. To putting David Ortiz in Game 4 of the ALCS when they came back.
You're right. 3-0. That's one that's also very important. It's important to them being able to get where they ended up getting. And
that was the start. That was the start of everything, right? In that series.
That's why I say some of those moments. You think of the ALDS, the Jays were down at one point and they were gonna lose that. You could honestly put that moment when Troy Tulowitzki hit that 3-run home run in Texas in Game 3 of the ALDS, because that was what started them to kind of get going, and be the team that everyone knew they were from the regular season. So there's so many different moments I think you could put on here. You could say maybe I don't know. You could say what was it? Corey Seager's home run in Game 1 of the World Series.
Right.
Paul Sewald. You could say Yordan Alvarez's home run in 2022 against Robbie Ray in Game 1 of the ALDS. If you haven't watched that game, that's a great game to watch. That is awesome because it was right after we got swept by the Mariners in the wild card series. Yeah. But anyway, anything else you have to
add? No. We'll probably do hockey and football next, but I think it would have been too hard if we did all 3 at once. So we kind of separated that with clutch moments in baseball. So now we'll probably do hockey next week and then football the week after. But yeah, that was a fun one.
Good one.
Yeah, definitely do more of these because I like reliving these kinds of moments of nostalgia watching these games.
I mean, I'll say this: it would be fun for the Yankees. It would be entertaining if the Yankees came back and won the series. That would be.
It would be kind of like that Edmonton last year with the Stanley Cup final.
Yeah, that was still fun.
The first 3 games were not entertaining, and then the fact that they came back and made it interesting and brought it to Game 7. I would like to see that just so I could watch more baseball.
Well, after baseball, after you got fucking whiny pants in the dressing rooms going, it's not good enough. You're not good enough. This is the finals. You gotta show up for the team, bro.
That was after Game 2, even.
Oh, was
it? It was. Game 3 they lost, and then I wonder what Game 3 was like.
Yeah, I wonder what Game 3 was like. Foul gas.
Yeah.
That's a leader in my mind, but still, it's still
He
pretty.
is. He's a great leader. I
Yeah,
can't
he
diss.
wants it.
I
He
can't
wants
diss
it.
McDavid.
Definitely wants it the most on that team, and that attributes to his skill and why he's such a good player is because he just wants it more than everyone else. And
Yep.
yeah, still, it's funny when he's like, "It's not good enough. It's not that enough." But yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
He
let's.
just got injured yesterday, so hopefully he does
All
come back. He did. Yeah. So hopefully he comes back fast.
right.
Good
Well,
old McJesus.
yeah. Thank you guys so much for listening. Take care. We will see you soon. Uh, Make sure to like, subscribe, watch all the content on YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, X. We're on all the platforms. We will see you soon, and cheers.